Be me, 28, sitting at this trendy brunch place in downtown with my girls on a Saturday afternoon. The kind of place that charges $18 for avocado toast. We're at our usual spot by the window. Me, Rachel, Sarah, and Jess. We do this every weekend, post photos of our food, complain about our weeks, the usual. Today's topic, dating, or more specifically, the complete lack of it. I'm just saying, Rachel announces, stabbing her fork into her salad, dating culture is literally dead. Like, actually dead. Sarah nods so hard her iced latte nearly spills. When's the last time any of us got approached? Like, genuinely approached, not some creep at a bar at 2 a.m. I lean back in my chair and I can feel the frustration bubbling up. Literally months. I haven't been approached in months. I go to coffee shops, I go to bars, I'm out in the world, and it's like I'm invisible. Same, Jess chimes in. I was at Target last week, looking cute as hell, and nothing, not even eye contact. It's because men are intimidated now, Rachel says with absolute certainty. They see a strong, independent woman, and they just can't handle it, Sarah adds. Or they're all just glued to their phones. Dating apps ruined everything. No one knows how to interact in person anymore. I'm nodding along because yes, exactly. Right? Like, make an effort. Talk to people. It's not that hard. The waiter brings our food and we continue dissecting the problem with modern men. Rachel's going through her dating app matches, showing us the guys she's talking to, and we're all agreeing they're either boring or trying too hard or something's just off. That's when I notice the table next to us. 4 guys, mid-20s to early 30s probably, sitting at the round booth adjacent to ours. Dressed normal, jeans, casual button-ups, hoodies. The kind of guys you'd pass on the street and not think twice about. One's wearing glasses, another's got a beard, they all look fine. Average. Those guys have literally not looked over here once, Sarah mutters, flicking her eyes toward their table. Rachel glances over. Not even once? We're right here. I look at them more carefully now. They're deep in their own conversation, completely oblivious to us. Which is weird, right? 4 single women at the next table, and not even a glance. Then I start actually listening to what they're saying. I'm just saying, 8 months, dude. 8 months, and I've gotten maybe 6 matches total. It's the guy with glasses talking. I'll call him Chris in my head. He's got his phone out, showing his friend something on the screen. The bearded guy, Marcus, I decide, leans over to look. 6? Bro, that's better than me. I've gotten 3 in the past year. 3 matches in a year? Chris sounds genuinely shocked. Yeah, and 2 of them unmatched before I could even send a message. I glance at my friends. Sarah's eyes are wide. She's definitely listening too. We all kind of subtly tune into their conversation. The 3rd guy jumps in. Honestly, I stopped trying with the apps. It's too depressing. Last week, I actually approached a girl at a bar, like, in person, and she looked at me like I'd just insulted her entire family. Marcus winces. Oof. Yeah, that's why I don't do that anymore. It was so brutal, man. I wasn't even being weird about it, just asked if I could buy her a drink. She literally said, "No thanks," and turned her entire body away. I haven't been on a date in over a year, the 4th guy says quietly. He's been mostly silent, picking at his fries. Honestly, I've kind of just accepted it. Like I'm probably going to be single for a while. Maybe forever. I don't know. There's this heavy silence at the table. Nobody's laughing. Nobody's being dramatic. They're just defeated. It's genuine. I feel something shift in my chest. Not sympathy exactly. More like validation. Sarah clearly feels differently. She leans back in her chair and says, just loud enough for them to definitely hear, "Oh my God, maybe if they actually tried approaching women instead of just swiping on their phones." I see one of them, Chris, freeze mid-reach for his drink. His eyes flick toward our table for half a second, then away. The conversation at their table goes completely silent. Then Marcus clears his throat and changes the subject. "So, you guys watching the game tomorrow?" They're quieter now. The energy's different. Rachel leans in toward us, lowering her voice just slightly. "See? That's exactly the problem. They're sitting there literally complaining about being single, and meanwhile, they're doing nothing about it." "Right?" I jump in, feeling vindicated. "Like, you want a girlfriend? Put yourself out there. Approach someone. Don't just sit around feeling sorry for yourself." Sarah's animated now. Men have gotten so lazy, they expect women to do all the work now. We spend the rest of brunch dissecting this. How men have become passive, entitled, expecting matches to just happen, expecting women to make the first move. We talk about how dating used to work. Guys would approach, they'd pursue, they'd make an effort. Now? Nothing. I feel energized by this conversation. We've identified the problem. Men aren't trying anymore. They're sitting around on apps, swiping mindlessly, and then complaining when nothing happens. Meanwhile, women like us, we're out here, available, looking cute, and being completely ignored. When the check comes, I glance over at the guys' table one more time. They're laughing about something now, the earlier mood seemingly forgotten. But I notice Chris still hasn't made eye contact with our table. Not once since Sarah's comment. Good, I think. Maybe he needed to hear it. We pay, take a photo for Instagram, and head out into the sunny afternoon. I'm still thinking about those guys as we say our goodbyes on the sidewalk. "Same time next week?" Rachel asks. "Obviously," I say. As I walk to my car, I pull out my phone and open Hinge, scroll through my matches, 3 new ones since this morning. I look at their profiles. One guy's shirtless gym pic is trying way too hard. Another's bio is just emojis. The third seems okay, but his first message is just "hey." I close the app without responding to any of them. It's not that I'm picky, I tell myself. I just have standards. And if men actually made an effort to approach in person, maybe I wouldn't have to rely on this app in the first place. I sit in my car for a moment before starting the engine, watching people walk by on the sidewalk. Couples holding hands, groups of friends laughing, solo people glued to their phones. Nobody's approaching anyone, I realize. The whole world's just existing separately. But that's not my problem to solve. That's on men. They're the ones who stopped trying. I start my car and head home, already planning what I'm going to wear out tonight. Maybe tonight will be different. Maybe someone will actually approach. Probably not, though. Monday morning hits different when you spend the entire weekend thinking about something. I can't stop replaying that restaurant conversation. Those guys and their defeated faces. The numbers, 8 months, 6 matches, keep circling in my head. Part of me feels like I discovered something important. Men have just given up. I get to the office around 9:15 and settle into my desk. Marketing department, 3rd floor. I like my job, social media management for a B2B tech company. It's fine, pays decently. Jake sits 2 desks over. We've worked together for about a year and a half, chat pretty regularly about random stuff. He's 31, pretty average looking, always dresses business casual. Dark hair, glasses, medium build, nice guy, perpetually single as far as I know. Around 10:30, I roll my chair over to his desk. "Hey, got a second?" He looks up from his monitor. "Yeah, what's up?" "Okay, so random. But I had this experience at brunch on Saturday that I can't stop thinking about. I launch into the story, the restaurant, the guys at the next table, their entire conversation about dating struggles and apps and never getting matches. These guys were literally just sitting there complaining about being single instead of doing anything about it, just wallowing. I expect Jake to nod, maybe agree, validate my take. Instead, he laughs. Not a polite chuckle, an actual laugh. "What?" I ask, confused. "Emma," he says, and there's something in his tone I can't quite read. "I hate to break it to you, but those guys were probably being completely honest." Honest about what? About their experience. That's just what it's like. I blink. "What do you mean?" "They were sitting right there. We were at the next table. They didn't even try to..." "Okay, let me ask you something. When's the last time a woman approached you?" The question catches me off guard. "What? That's different. Women don't approach." "Exactly." He's looking at me now with this expression that's not quite pity, but close. Now imagine that's your entire life. You never get approached. Not ever. That's an exaggeration. Men get approached all the time. "Have you?" Jake asks. Actually seen it? Name one specific time you personally witnessed a woman approach a man in person. Not in a movie. A real thing you saw. I open my mouth to answer, and then nothing comes out. "There was this one time at a club," I finally say. "These girls were dancing with some guys. Drunk girls at a club don't count. I'm talking about real life. Coffee shops, bookstores, parties, restaurants. I'm still searching my memory, but I can't think of a single example." Jake watches me struggle, then says quietly, "I'm 31 years old. I've never been approached by a woman. Not once in my entire life." I stare at him. "Come on." "Not at bars, not at parties, nowhere. 0 times. "But you've dated?" "Yeah, because I asked women out. I've probably approached 15 women over the years. Got 2 yeses. Both fizzled out after a few dates. That's it." I don't know what to say. Jake seems so normal. "Well, maybe if you put yourself out there more." "Emma." There's frustration creeping into his voice now. "I go out twice a week. I'm on 3 different dating apps. I've tried hobby groups, sports leagues, everything. For most men, if we don't approach, we stay single forever. There's no alternative." That can't be true. For most men, it is though. There are actual studies, 95% of men report never being approached by a woman. Ever. I feel defensive now. That sounds like incel stuff. It's not incel stuff, it's just data. Jake runs a hand through his hair. "Look, I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I'm just saying those guys you overheard, they were telling the truth, and your response was to mock them for not trying hard enough. I wasn't mocking, you told them to approach more, but you also just said women don't approach. You see the issue with that, right? I feel heat rising to my face. It's not the same thing. Why not? Because I start, but I don't know how to finish that sentence. Jake's tone is patient, almost sad. I'm not saying you're wrong for not approaching men. That's not how our society works. But you can't complain that men don't approach you while simultaneously never approaching men yourself. And you definitely can't mock guys for struggling with something you've never had to experience. We sit in silence for a moment. When those guys said they'd gone months without matches, Jake continues, or that rejection is soul-crushing, they weren't being dramatic. That's just normal. That's the default male experience. But I see couples everywhere. It can't be that hard. It's hard, Jake says simply. We just do it anyway because the alternative is being alone forever. We get rejected 9 times out of 10 and keep going because that 10th time might say yes. I think about my Hinge matches, the 3 new ones from Saturday, how I didn't even respond because they weren't interesting enough. I get approached sometimes, I hear myself say. Exactly, Jake says. What? You get approached. Even if it's rare, you still get approached. Most men would consider that winning the lottery, just knowing someone found them attractive enough to take the risk of rejection. But that guy was like twice my age, and creepy. I'm not saying you should have been interested. I'm saying you still experienced something most men never will. Someone saw you in public and thought you were worth the risk of embarrassment. My phone buzzes, a Slack message from my boss. I should get back to work, I say. Yeah, Jake says. He turns back to his monitor. I roll my chair back to my desk, but I can't focus. I open Hinge again, stare at those 3 matches. So many options. I glance over at Jake. He's typing something, completely absorbed in work. Has he really never been approached? Not once? I try to imagine going through life like that, being invisible unless you make yourself seen, taking risk after risk, getting rejected most of the time, and just accepting that as normal. It sounds exhausting. But also, I think, that's just how it works. Women get approached, men do the approaching. That's society. I didn't make those rules. Although, a small voice in my head says, didn't you just spend all of Saturday complaining that men don't approach anymore? I shake the thought away and pull up my email. By Wednesday, I still can't let it go. I'm at my desk refreshing my inbox for no reason when I get a text from Jake. If you really don't believe me, I'll prove it. Coffee after work? We meet at the Starbucks down the block. Jake's already there with his laptop out. Okay, he says, opening it. We're doing an experiment. What kind of experiment? Dating app profiles. We're going to create a fake male profile and compare it to yours. I'm skeptical, but curious. Fine. But he should make 2 versions, one average guy and one that actually tries, to prove men just don't put in effort. Deal. We spend 20 minutes building Mike, 29. Jake uses photos of his friend Tom, decent looking, normal smile, regular clothes. Bio says he's an accountant, likes hiking and trying new restaurants. Nothing special, nothing terrible. Then we make Mike 2.0. Better photos, wittier bio, shows more personality. Now pull up your Hinge, Jake says. I do. We screenshot my stats. Let's check back in 24 hours, Jake says. Thursday evening, same Starbucks. Jake opens his laptop and I feel weirdly nervous. My profile, 47 likes received, 14 matches, 9 messages. Mike, average, 2 likes, 0 matches. Mike 2.0, high effort, 6 likes, 1 match, already unmatched. I stare at the screen. The numbers don't make sense. Okay, but maybe the algorithm hasn't... Emma. Jake turns the laptop toward me. This is my real profile. It's been active for 14 months. 67 total likes received. He sent out over 300 likes, 23 matches. Most never responded. My throat feels tight. That can't be normal. He pulls up a Reddit thread. Then another. Screenshots from his friends. A dating app study showing the disparity. The evidence is everywhere. In real life it's even worse, Jake says, because at least on apps there's mutual interest if you match. In person, we're approaching completely cold. So you just never get validation? Ever? Not unless I create it myself by approaching, which gets exhausting when you get rejected 90% of the time. I sit there, trying to process. But that guy approached me last month at Target. Exactly, Jake says quietly. I realize what I just said. Okay, but he was weird. He was like twice my age. You still got approached. Most guys would kill for that, weird or not. Just to know someone found them attractive enough to take the risk. The coffee shop suddenly feels too warm. I can't stop myself. Over the next few days, I need more data. I video call my brother Tyler that night. So are you seeing anyone? I ask casually. He laughs. Nah, still single. You're not trying? I mean, I try. I asked out a girl from my gym last month. She said no. Before that, it was like 6 months? Has a girl ever approached you? Tyler thinks. Like, approached me. Number. Well, one time drunk at a party in college, but she thought I was someone else. That's it? In your entire life? Yeah? Is that weird? My younger brother is decent looking, has a job, goes to the gym, 0 approaches. That night, I did something insane. Don't judge, okay? I find that restaurant on Instagram, locate one of those guys from Saturday, Chris, in a tagged photo. I DM him. This is random, but I was at restaurant last Saturday and overheard your conversation about dating. I'm doing research for a project. Would you answer a few questions? He responds an hour later. Sure. This is weird, but okay. I ask him directly, have you ever been approached by a woman? No LOL. Is this for like a psych study or something? How many times have you approached women? Honestly? Probably 30 to 40 times over the years. Got 5 numbers, 2 dates, nothing serious. It's pretty soul-crushing, so I mostly stopped. I stare at his message for a long time. Every man. The same story, every single one. I close Instagram and toss my phone on the couch. This is getting ridiculous. I'm spending way too much energy on this. It's not like it changes anything. Dating is just hard for everyone right now. Different struggles, same outcome. Rachel texts the group chat about her party Friday night. I need a drink and to stop overthinking everything. Friday night, Rachel's house party. Music, drinks, the usual crowd. I spot Jake across the room talking to some people. I watch him throughout the night. Not one woman approaches him. Not one makes eye contact from across the room. He's just there, invisible. Meanwhile, within an hour, a guy approaches me at the drink table. Hey, I'm Alex, friend of Rachel's. He's not unattractive, just not my type. Too eager. I give short answers until he takes the hint and leaves. Later, another guy, Tom, strikes up a conversation on the patio. We talk for 15 minutes. He's fine, nice enough. But I'm not feeling it. I should go find my friend, I say, extracting myself. That's 2 approaches in one night. I find Jake sitting on the couch alone, scrolling his phone. How's your night going? I ask, sitting next to him. Fine. Typical party. Talk to anyone interesting? He shrugs. Not really. I talked to Sarah for a bit, but she was mostly interested in my friend Chris, who couldn't make it. I feel something. Guilt? Recognition? Jake. Has a woman ever approached you at a party? He looks at me seriously. Emma, I've been going to parties for 15 years. Not once. What about tonight? What about tonight? I talk to people when I walked up to groups. That's how it works for me, for most guys. I watch the party with new eyes. Women in clusters, laughing, dancing. Men orbiting those clusters. Some approaching, some hanging back. The invisible ones. The Jakes. Just existing in the space, hoping someone will notice. Near the end of the night, Rachel drunkenly complains, Ugh, why are there no good guys here? I almost laugh. There are plenty of guys here, they're just invisible. As I'm leaving, I pass 3 guys on the porch. One is saying, So, yeah man, I just don't know what I'm doing wrong. I keep walking. There's probably something they're doing wrong. There usually is. I get in my car and sit in silence. The whole night plays back, Jake invisible in the corner. The two guys who approached me, Alex was too eager, Tom was boring. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe guys just don't know how to approach properly anymore. They're either too aggressive or too passive. Never the right balance. I think about Jake's stats. 67 likes in 14 months, but dating apps are superficial anyway. They're probably all swiping on girls out of their league. My brother's gym rejection, maybe his approach was off. Chris messaging 40 women, maybe he's coming on too strong. There are explanations for all of this that don't require me to feel bad about anything. I start my car. The thing is, I still haven't been approached enough. Two guys at a party isn't exactly overwhelming attention, and neither of them were even my type, so do they really count? As I drove home, I wondered for a second. What if men haven't stopped trying? What if we just stopped seeing them? I turned the thought off immediately. That's not my problem. Men just need to do better.